Today, we're going to be focused on understanding LinkedIn from behind the scenes. Specifically, we're going to be taking a look at LinkedIn Recruiter. For those of you that don't know what LinkedIn Recruiter is, this is the back system that companies and recruiters buy in order to find you as a candidate. It is a very expensive system that recruiting firms and companies spend a lot of money on and has quickly become the major player worldwide on finding and recruiting candidates. Why? Because it is the only big system on the market that allows companies to get to what we call active candidates and passive candidates. Now, an active candidate is a candidate that's actually applied for a job posting. A passive candidate are candidates that are out there that recruiters and companies get to approach by sending them messages asking if they're interested in a particular role. Here is the great news. If you understand how LinkedIn Recruiter works behind the scenes, you understand how all of the other recruiting systems recruit as well. Now, if this is the first time you're hearing about LinkedIn and don't yet have a profile, I recommend you pause this video, go watch our other video on creating a LinkedIn profile, and then come back and watch this one. Before we jump into the back of LinkedIn Recruiter, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell for notifications on the next set of videos in this series. And I would greatly appreciate it if you feel this video has been helpful, if you would give me a thumbs up, as it will really help my channel. Let's take a look at LinkedIn Recruiter. When you go into LinkedIn, you probably see a page that looks like this. When I go into LinkedIn Recruiter, it looks like this. This is where I can search on LinkedIn by entering information in all of these search filters to bring up individuals who are a potential match to the role I'm trying to fill. There are a lot of search filters. In addition to all of these filters on the left side of your screen, I also have access to all of these. The name of the game for job seekers on LinkedIn is to get past all of the algorithms and search filters so you actually come up in the searches being done by companies. Now, because there are so many search filters, there are way too many to try and cover on this one video. Today, we're going to be focused on 3: job titles, locations, and one of the spotlight searches, open to new opportunities. Let's start with job titles. Let's say the position I'm trying to recruit for is a mechanical engineer. When I enter this into the job title section, it will search any data an individual adds to the experience section of their profile that matches mechanical engineer. Most times when this search is done, companies are only going to be looking at individuals who are currently in this role, which they can select by choosing this radio button. How do you, as a job seeker, make sure you come up in the search that I just did? The first way is to make sure your job titles listed on LinkedIn are industry-recognized job titles. If the company you worked for had company-specific titles that are not industry standard, then you should list the system title they gave you and the industry-specific title. For example, if you were called a Project Alpha team member, you can list this as Project Alpha team member - mechanical engineer. If you don't translate your title into something more industry specific, you might not come up in the search. Now, please don't get me wrong. You should never, ever lie or falsify data on a resume or any other document that could be considered employment related. In this case, you're just trying to translate the data into something that will have meaning to those who did not work for that same company. Here's another way to make sure you come up in the search. If you're a job seeker that is not presently working, if you change your job title to something like currently seeking or available for work, you will not come up in the search. You should list something instead like mechanical engineer seeking new opportunity or seeking new mechanical engineer position. Let's look at the next search filter, locations. Companies have lots of options when entering a location into LinkedIn Recruiter. They can list specific cities, counties, states, provinces, countries, or even continents. Your location is derived from the location you enter when you created your profile. You can change this location by going to your profile and clicking on Contact Info. When a company enters a location to search in, they usually begin by first looking at individuals who currently live in that location by choosing Current from these radio buttons. If they are unable to find someone for their role in that location, they will then start looking at individuals who are open to relocating to that location. So how does LinkedIn know if you're willing to relocate to a certain place? On your profile, you have the opportunity to turn on a feature called Open to New Opportunities. LinkedIn asks you to fill out various information about your job preferences. One of the options on this setting is Job Locations. In this section, you can choose up to 5 locations. Here are some rules job seekers should follow when entering locations. Don't choose a location that you're already assigned to. You only have 5 slots. If your primary location on your profile is Houston, Texas, there's no need to list Houston, Texas again in this section. If you're open to relocating to various cities in a particular state, you should list the state instead of the city. The reason for this is when recruiters do a search for any city in that state, no matter how big or small, you will come up in those searches. This helps you not get missed if, for example, they search using a location on the outskirts of a city, like Houston or Chicago, where you would normally fall out of the search. If they call you about a location in that state that is outside of where you want to be, you can always tell them no, or ask them if they would be willing to consider a different location. At least then you are talking with someone and didn't fall out of the search. The name of the game on LinkedIn is to get past all of the search filters and algorithms so you actually come up in the search and someone looks at your information. For within the US, you can choose United States, but I have noticed some issues with this location. Unfortunately, it does not always work well. Here's an example of this. I did a search for a position in Powell, Wyoming. For this search, I also added in United States and chose the option to look at people who were open to relocate only. You can see that this person shows in the search because he has United States listed on his Open to Opportunities section. But when I removed United States and only had chosen Powell, Wyoming, this person no longer shows up in my search. Why did he fall out of my search? He should still show up since he had listed that he was willing to relocate to anywhere in the United States. This is not the first time I have seen this occur when individuals choose United States as an option. Because of this LinkedIn bug, I would recommend people choose states in the US as opposed to putting United States as one of your options. Let's move on to the third search filter we are going to cover today, Open to New Opportunities. To understand why this is such an important search filter, you need to understand how recruiting firms work. There are over 660 million profiles on LinkedIn, and the number is growing every single day. For recruiting firms to be successful, they must be able to fill open positions that they are given by their clients in an effective and efficient manner. They want to successfully fill a person in that position as quickly as possible. The Open to New Opportunities search filter is a powerful tool for them as it lets them quickly narrow down the profiles they are viewing to only those that are open to new opportunities. Now, don't get me wrong. If they are a good recruiting firm, they are still going to target those that are working. But this is a very quick and easy way for them to narrow down the candidate pool. So how do you get into this search? This is easy. Just turn on your Open to New Opportunities setting. Remember, in order to get noticed on LinkedIn, you actually have to come up in someone's search. There are so many search filters on LinkedIn Recruiter that are important to your job search. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified as we release videos on those and others which will cover more great tips to help you land that perfect position.